Hey, here are 5 stupid things I've noticed since last time. Christians attack Obama's God-free Thanksgiving address. President Obama released a video on Thanksgiving delivering a brief, simple message about national solidarity, supporting the troops, and remembering those less fortunate. And he was promptly attacked by several right-wing Christians for making no mention of God in his remarks. Columnist Sherman Frederick wrote in a blog entry, quote, "In the text of his speech, he referred to Thanksgiving as a celebration of community. Holy cow, is that one screwed up view or what? Somebody ought to remind Obama and his speechwriter that when Americans sit down around a meal today and give thanks, they give thanks to God." And that same day on Twitter, conservative author and professional idiot Ben Shapiro described Obama, who is a Christian, as a militant atheist and asked, "To whom does he think we are giving thanks?" Well, firstly, Ben, militant atheists don't pretend to be Christians. And secondly, to both of you and to everyone else who is bitching about Obama not mentioning God in his Thanksgiving video, not all Americans give thanks to God on Thanksgiving, and not all of those who do are giving thanks to the same God. See, the United States is a pluralistic society, and it's only been that way for the last 230-odd years, so I suppose you can be forgiven for not having caught on to that quite yet, but I do hope that eventually, someday, some of you militant Christians, if I may employ that phrase, will come to understand this fundamental principle of your own fucking country, for fuck's sake. Newts Turn. The recent surge in the polls of Newt Gingrich is a sobering reminder that even in our modern progressive age, when we like to think that prejudice is something that most Americans have left behind, there are still many in the Republican Party who simply will not vote for an android. So determined are they to support anyone other than Mitt Romney that many of them now stand ready to vote for a reptile, which, while not warm-blooded, is at least a biological entity. Now, my question is, when their honeymoon with Newt inevitably ends in blood and frustrated tears, how desperate will the anyone but Mitt crowd be then? Not that desperate. Sorry, Yoda. Christians call for death of George Michael. When George Michael was admitted to a Vienna hospital with pneumonia about a week and a half ago, a member of the group Christians for a Moral America posted a series of tweets claiming the ailing singer had AIDS and urging followers to, quote, "pray for George Michael's demise." Happy holidays. Ann Coulter thinks Occupy protesters should be shot. Just recently, Ann Coulter went on MSNBC and called John McCain a douchebag, or excuse me, a dickweed. And now she's gone on the radio in San Francisco and suggested that what is really needed to end the Occupy protests, which are still ongoing throughout the country, is a repeat of the infamous 1970 Kent State shooting, when unarmed student protesters were fired on by Ohio National Guardsmen, resulting in 4 deaths. Now, Ann's most recent book was released over the summer, so her cranking her bile spigot this wide open now can only mean one thing. Sales of demonic are really in the toilet. Look for it soon at an Ollie's Bargain outlet near you. Christians in Kentucky ban interracial couples from church. Stella Harville, a white woman and a longtime member of the congregation at Gulnair Free Will Baptist Church in Pike County, Kentucky, recently brought her fiancé, a black man named Ticha Chikuni, to church with her. And the couple even performed a song, Chikuni singing "I Surrender All" while Harville accompanied him on the piano. Their church responded by promptly banning interracial couples from all worship services except for funerals, and by adopting a policy which officially states that the church does not condone interracial marriages. See, this is the problem you run into when you leave it up to individual communities whether or not they want to observe daylight savings time. These people, they set their clocks back, then they forget to set them forward, and that adds up over years, and eventually you wind up with a situation like this, where an entire church thinks that it's the 1860s. I sure hope that someone corrects their mistake soon. Just imagine how embarrassed they'll be when they realize that it's actually 2011. The hardest part is only picking 5. See you next time.